We'll do a couple quick intros and then we'll get into it. Kristen, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, good afternoon. Thank you for joining the evening session at Phenom. No, kidding. So excited to be here. I'm Kristen Davis. I'm with ChenMed. We're a value-based healthcare company based out of the Miami area. We're currently in 15 states, have about 6,000 employees.
Hi everyone, my name is Janine Tkach. I work along with Tim at Phenom. I'm the product director of the career website. It's nice to meet all of you. Welcome.
I'm Tim Adair, one of the product leaders focused on our CX product. So we're excited to talk through Design Studio and everything that ChenMed has been working on. Our purpose is to help 1 billion people find the right job, and everything that we talk about today is going to push forward that purpose. So we're going to talk through the problem that we're seeing, our position, our approach. Janine's going to walk through a quick demo, and then Kristen's going to walk through her story. So some of the challenges that we know exist around career site management and building around brand refresh, matching brand guidelines, customizing the look and feel, launching landing pages, SEO automation, accessibility compliance, DE&I content audit, submitting tickets to match brand. And so these are things that we know are challenges. And part of what I'm going to talk about today is what I mentioned this morning, Design Studio, and how we solve this and put the power of building career sites into your hands. So our goal on the CX product team is to empower CMS users to manage, customize, and enhance all aspects of the career site and employer brand through self-serve tools. And one big piece to that is Design Studio. So Design Studio is self-serve design, layout changes for themes, widgets, and content. As we release new widgets, they're available on all sites. So today we have multiple canvases, and those canvases have a subset of widgets and features. Design Studio will have access to everything. Same with our platform approach to accessibility and SEO. As we make changes to the platform, every career site will be able to take advantage of that. And then as we optimize for new experiences like search and other things, we can roll out those new features quickly with Design Studio. So we're expanding and enhancing global settings. So being able to change container widths, heights, button styles, link styles, anything across the site. We're also adding multiple themes. So as you create one theme as your core site, you can create multiple themes below that and apply that to one page or multiple pages. And then on the widget settings side, this is detailed settings at a widget level. So if you want to change the alignment, spacing, any styles at a detailed widget level, that's all self-serve in Design Studio. We're launching new canvases and themes. So these will be available as part of Design Studio. You can take these as a starting point, apply your branding to that. We'll have new widgets that are a part of it. And this is going to be, Janine will talk a little bit about our theme marketplace, but there'll be a lot of options to apply these canvases to your sites. So Glassdoor has this stat that 75% of active job seekers are likely to apply to a job if the employer actively manages the employer brand. So Design Studio will let you do that end to end. We're giving you the tools to configure, manage, and optimize your site. So what makes a great career site? Attraction is the number one thing. So maximizing career site traffic through SEO, launching landing pages, and really optimizing that experience. Engagement, optimizing the time on site. Conversion, driving applications. And then AI, personalization. So everything that we have on the site today, Design Studio will take advantage of that. And we're trying to wrap that all together to make the most impactful career site possible. So we're going to walk through a product demo. Janine's going to give us a quick overview of what Design Studio looks like. Janine?
Can you hear me? All right. Well, like Tim said, we've got this new product called Design Studio. We're upgrading our platform to give you more power and more personalization as you craft the best career website you possibly can. So it'll still be in the CMS, just like you log in today. You'll be logged in tomorrow with Design Studio. When you select your page, for example, you'll be able to actually get into our different design settings. Like Tim said, we have design settings for your widgets. We also have global settings, and we have themes, which we'll talk about. You'll be able to manage these in greater detail. So you'll have more options available to you. You'll have more granular level control available to you when you apply your changes across your widgets. We've got I think these are our global settings here. We've got global settings, which will be applied across the board. And we have different options for your global settings. It's in a different tab here on the left-hand side. Your global settings, like we said, they're global, changes across the website. So your widgets, you can create a widget, you can save those styles and apply them to widgets later on, which will be making your life a lot easier, a lot faster. And you can do the same thing with your global styles here. And we'll be able to have more control, more options than you did before. We have more options for your headers and your footers and your overall layout as well. You also have images, which you'll be able to control different sizing for your images, so it'll be a little bit easier to create your layout and your branding. And then when you actually start to put your page together, we'll have more options for things like spacing and padding. You get to control all of that. You don't have to create tickets to manage most of the stuff like you do today, which will be really fantastic. It's all self-service, which is really the whole purpose of this. Additionally, we're also ensuring that all of these widgets, all of this control is just available to you. Today, for example, you choose a template and they have certain widgets applied. And if you want more widgets, you have to request those widgets. Tomorrow with Design Studio, what is actually going to happen is that you get access to all of the widgets. And as more widgets are created, they are released at a platform level. So you get all of this available to you. There's no more choosing which template and selection of widgets. You can have all of it if you want it. And you'll also have more control, like Tim said, over different themes. So we have website themes. We will have two different options here. You can create your own theme. However you choose to create it, you can save it, and you can apply it across the board. Or in the second option you see in the right-hand corner, you can also browse Phenom's themes. Like Tim mentioned, we will be giving you options for themes. You can control them and save them. So if you want to start out with one of Phenom's themes, as we have more, we'll add more to the marketplace and you can peruse them. You can save them. You can save and publish and assign these themes across the board, which will be really easy and nice. We'll also have some additional features like icons, so you don't have to source them from outside, but they'll be available to you inside the CMS as well. So there'll be a lot more with Design Studio tomorrow than what you have today. We also have a brand new search experience, which is really exciting. With search, what we'll have, you'll see a cleaner layout. There'll be fewer clicks, so things like the job description will be available there without the user having to click into it. Same thing with the apply button. When your search results appear on the board, they can apply right there. When they click on the apply button, it takes them to the application page. Today, it takes you to the job description page first. So we want to make sure our applicants are converting as quickly as possible. They get all the information up front. They get to know if you have multiple locations, where those are. You get to hover over those, see those available. You get to see the job description right here on the search results page, because this will be like your hub. And you can also select more granular level searches with more details right here on the search page as well. So this is just these are just a few of the changes that are coming for the search results page. And we'll be incrementally improving these as well in Design Studio. Like Tim said, this is what it'll look like when you actually get to our theme marketplace. So we'll be releasing a lot of different themes to give you a head start. And like Tim said, you can customize these. If you want rounded buttons, you want different styles, different fonts, and you can save all this across the board. So you just create it once, you save it, and you apply it, which will be a lot easier. All right, back to you, Tim.
So just a quick snapshot of ChenMed's site from 2022. So just to give you context for how the site was performing. So about 72, 73% of applies that started actually completed. They had a total number of applies that were around 51,000. The site received about 678,000 total job seekers across the whole site. And of those that joined the site, 63,000 actually were a lead that were created. From an engagement perspective, Candidates were visiting close to 3 pages with every visit, and they're spending close to 2 minutes on the site.
So we've talked about that. I'm not going to talk about career sites too much more. I'm going to talk about what we do once we have them on the career site. I will say those numbers. We're getting ready to do a career site refresh. So if any of you are going out there and you're pulling up my career site to see how we've used Design Studio, they didn't let me use it first. They just asked me to get up on this stage. I just want you to know. Nobody needs to go look at our career site. We are not a shining example, but we will be, and then you can. However, but we'll use those numbers to iterate and see. So one thing I want you to think about, so we've heard some big numbers and some companies that have done some phenomenal things. We have 6,000 employees. So with a okay website, that's what we were able to do. But what I want to talk to you about is, that's great once you have them there, but I really think the magic of Phenom, and for us, the magic of Phenom has been, okay, now what? Now what do we do? How do we take that? How do we convert that? Because do y'all remember what ChenMed is? Who knows what we are? You listen to my intro. You don't get to answer. You don't get to answer. You don't know, it's okay. We do value-based healthcare. I tell Glenn all the time, we're like an infomercial company. Nobody knows what we do, how we're performing. We're not a brand that you walk down the street and see. We have to tell you who we are. So us getting in front of our candidates and then back in front of our candidates is very important. Phenom helps us do that. Front page, that's where you're not going. Thank you for obeying. This is where you may go. If you are not using the blog, turn it on, get some people to write. It doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be marketers who do your writing. Get a recruiter who's pretty savvy. Ask them some questions, write it up, post it. The beauty of it is that then goes to TikTok, it goes to Instagram, it goes to other places, you use it later on. Big fan of that. Career page, that's something we're playing with, and then Comparably has been really interesting, and that's where we're kind of testing and playing with some new things. Microsite, so this is where I think we're doing some things that are really cool. We do a lot of our microsites are driven from events. So we are leveraging what Phenom would call an event. We make it a form. We let people fill it out. And then guess what? We have them. They're mine. What I like about this, and why we have 500,000 people in our CRM in 3 years, is I don't have to go buy them again. I don't have to go out to Indeed and find them, or LinkedIn, or anywhere else. We have them, and that's one of the things what is the secret of the great search agencies? It's their database. I don't need to pay for that, I can build that. So that's what we're doing. And as we talk about personalization and individualization, I think that's really important. All right, so this is our workflow. You can read, I'm not reading slides to you. What I like about this and where this is important, what I've learned. Write it down. I did not used to be good at this, but we now really write these down, write them out, and then we A/B test the heck through Phenom. Poor Sarah has probably heard us talk about that more, and Maddie, more than anything. Like, how can we do that better? How can we A/B test better? How can we A/B test more fluidly? We take one thing out, we put one thing in, and then we move forward, right? But it's allowing us to iterate and see what works. And that's what I'm excited about with Design Studio, right? Now I don't have to have a ticket to see if something's gonna work or not. I'm just gonna put it up, I'm gonna run it for 3 weeks, see what's changed with the numbers. Then I might put something else up, run it for 3 weeks, and then go back to the first. And I didn't have to put in a bunch of tickets. And believe me, Phenom is sick of me putting in tickets too. And if you're not putting in tickets, no, don't put in tickets. I need them to work on my tickets. All right, so event form links. So if you're not using events, this is just a how-to and how to get there. We use them everywhere, we reuse them. And we actually don't do a lot of events. We use these event forms to really help us create talent pools, help us to create segments of talent that we need to help with our hiring. Last year, our 6,000 person company hired 3,500 people. So if that tells you how fast we are growing, and this is why we need to be able to do these things at scale, this is how we use them. We put them into recipes. We talk about recipes all the time, and we talk about automation all the time. And if you haven't done automation, I will tell you, you are missing out on an efficiency that you are paying for in Phenom that is phenomenal. Truly groundbreaking in what we're able to do. We have it like Indeed Quick Apply. As soon as they apply, we send them a thing that says we love you, and by the way, complete the rest of our application. Right? So some people are looking at like two-stage applications. We haven't over-engineered it. We just did it with Indeed, called it a day. We're also doing it in other areas. Physicians, they are very hard to find. If any of you are in the healthcare space, they are hard to find. They are harder to find than IT people. They're harder to find than IT architects. They don't want to be found and they don't want to be talked to. If we can get a hold of them, we can't ever let them go. So we do a lot of work to drive them here from their events, from podcasts, other things they're attending. Then we have them. Once we have them, we're marketing back to them. Because again, I'm an infomercial company. I have to keep telling you who I am and why I'm wonderful. So we are leveraging that. And then this goes back to, this is what we're all running away from, right?
Okay, so this is a good example of how Design Studio can fix the challenge of having to submit tickets. So this is actually a very simple change. Currently, it requires engineering to go in and make a change to fix the margin. They want to reduce the margin to 10% on each side, and that requires days of work. With Design Studio, we're building tools to create a self-serve pathway for you to do that on your own. So if you need to change the look and feel of a subset of the site to match a certain brand, you can do that. So it's just a good example of how we're trying to solve some of these challenges.
All right.
All right, I think that's all that we have. So we're open for questions. People have any questions to, yeah, go for it.
So my organization is currently in the implementation phase. All that with Design Studio going to be available during implementation, or will it only be available?
So we don't have a mic, and so I'm going to repeat your question just because we do have a recording, and I want to make sure that it's captured. So you're currently in implementation, and you just want to will you have Design Studio when you go live?
Or during the current implementation?
Or in the implementation?
Yeah, so it's a good question. Design Studio is brand new as of now, and implementations going forward will have it. We will have a plan to move customers from existing state to Design Studio, so you will eventually get the same tools that we're talking about here. Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
You talked about automations.
Automations.
Like your visit best success.
Best success with automations. So we have two that I love, and both of them get applications finished. And we saw 30% increase, I think, right, Manny? 30% increase in our completed applications when we turned on these automations. So the first one is anybody who applied but didn't finish in the last 7 days, they get an automation email that says, hey, you didn't complete, please come back, right? That's easy. And the second one we did was the Indeed Quick Apply, where we invite them to come back and complete the application. And our application's still pretty short. We're right around 3 minutes. And we work really hard to keep it shorter, but you still get drop-off. But to be able to pick up 30% off of our drop-off, and it was 2 automations that took us about 20 minutes to write, that is the biggest no-brainer. So if you're not doing those, don't, because I'll take your talent. But yeah, we gotta wake up. But anyway, those are very easy. We do a couple of other automations. We have some automations that we may run for a period of time. So it may be an automation that's inside of a campaign where if this, then that, that we've gotten into, right? You don't have to do that. That doesn't have to be your first automation, but those are pretty killer. So, you know, we run an email out. We won 7 or 8 employment awards, employer happiness, Fortune awards. So we won some awards, and so we did some messaging. We built some campaigns, and they had different pieces to them. So then people would drop off the automation if they came back and started communicating to us, and if they didn't, they continued to get kind of these press release-y type marketing emails that were telling you how fabulous it is and why you want to come to work at ChenMed. We are a very culturally significant company. So if you're going to come to work for us, and we're in hypergrowth, right? I hired 3,500 employees last year. We have a total of 6,000. I need you to want to work for ChenMed. I need you to not want to just have a job or go down the street. Because of our growth, because of our change, that can be trying for some people. And if you don't identify with trying to help seniors get better health care, you won't stay. And so I'd rather you just not come. And so those kinds of automations are really helping us get our story in front of people. And then if they're not right for us, they'll unsubscribe. More power to them. Where we're hosting the event link. I like that question. That's a really good one. So we host it a couple of ways. So there are times when we will put the event link. We tend to embed it into a microsite or a landing page. Some of those are SEO'd and Google searchable, and you can go find it. Other times it's tied to maybe two of our doctors are doing a podcast, and so we tie it to that. So we're bringing them in off of the registration for the podcast. Or an event, a virtual event that we're holding, so we leverage those in different places. Sometimes they're SEO searchable, sometimes they are absolutely not. You had to have been invited or sent the link, and then we track every single one of those pages all the way through to hire, because we want to know, is this working? Do we do those podcasts again? Do we do more podcasts? Do we go back to that university? So we're constantly looking at the data and trying to make those decisions. And it's been really easy to do with Phenom and those links. Yes, so just about everything we do, we're gonna ask for it because you might have it. And I'd like to get you, I always want more information, right? I mean, guys, we're in talent acquisition. They want to give us the least amount of information possible. We want the most information possible, so a lot of times we'll ask for it, specifically if we're talking to a physician or somebody that we think would be answering this form from a desktop. Now, so if I was doing a form and it was for what we call our care team, so those are the support staff in a clinic, we're not going to ask probably, because we've got much more of a mobile experience that we believe would be happening. So we kind of make judgment calls, but never require, even on our application, like resumes top and center at the very first, but we don't require it. But if you don't give it to us, I'm going to automate and come back and ask you for it. And I think you had a question?
Yes. Do you have any idea what percentage of hirees were initially incomplete applications that got the automatic email?
It was a lot, Maddie. Yeah, I want to say, I don't know what the percentage is, but 17,000 was the number. And then 30% of that was our lift. So, and I will tell you guys, we don't get a lot of just direct applicants. To get an applicant, we have a phenomenal sourcing team, and we spend a lot of time and a lot of work getting our sourcers and reaching out, getting referrals. Glenn talked about that earlier. We do know referrals is a great way. Those are more of an organic, like they'll come through the apply workflow. So for us to say that of the people that we weren't spending we didn't have a sourcer talking to, that we increased that by 30%, that's gold. And we didn't even know we could get to that gold, right? It was luck. The other thing that really wasn't in my presentation that I would be absolutely remiss if I did not tell you, and it is a great learning I've had over the last 2 years, is who's not using the chatbot? Who's like, oh, I don't know, we haven't turned it on? You're all using the chatbot. Okay, good. Then I don't tell this group. You're not using it? Oh, absolutely. Oh, A/B testing, yeah. So why don't you tell me what my results on my chatbot are? I don't know the number. 30 no. Glenn, do you know the number? No, we don't know the number. That's why we have you. 80% lift on the chatbot, and we did nothing to it but turn it on. And that has been, anytime somebody calls me for a reference, and I'm like, if y'all end up buying this, I'm telling you, turn it on. Just turn it on. It works. It works great. And I'm really excited about how AI is going to influence chatbot. Okay, A/B testing. So yes, I've worn Sarah out with A/B testing. Are y'all, I'd always talked about A/B testing. I was probably told some executives we did A/B testing, but I probably never really did A/B testing before. What? He knew. Who's really kind of not doing it? Right. So I really was like, yeah, but I know what, I'm a 20-year professional in the space. I know what my candidates want to hear. Y'all do A/B testing. If you're not taking your set of data, bifurcating it, and sending out different messages to know what resonates, things are changing so fast. It is astonishing what will come back that works, that didn't work before, or works in March and isn't working in November. But we A/B test over and over and over again. And then there's times where we've sent our not bad message, but our message that didn't resonate as well. When we scrap it, we may come back and give the better message to that group of people, right? Which actually just gave me 2 opportunities to get in front of somebody. So we are constantly leveraging that A/B testing and looking at the results, and then we iterate. So, but we don't worry. I mean, the whole message needs to be spell checked. Everything needs to read correctly. We need to have good grammar. But we don't over-architect or spend too much time on getting these things out. And Blake, who's here in the audience on my team, he gave me a number I didn't know. About a year ago, we got really aggressive with putting templates into Phenom to actually host all this messaging and all the automations so that it's very easy for recruiters to send out. Our reply rate went up 700% when we did that. So when we went from making the recruiters go in and do it all themselves, and we gave them templates and we put in a little bit of recruitment marketing language and then gave them some things to change, 1, it made their lives easier and more simple. 2, our response rate went through the roof. So 700% across a year is, again, those are just dramatic numbers, proof why we need recruitment marketing in our space, why we need people who specialize in recruitment marketing, why we are serving our recruiters to ask them to do all the work that we ask them to do, but help give them, they're not marketers. Many of them did not go to school for marketing, right? But help give them a little bit of a lift, and it's been tremendous for us. And I wouldn't say we all have just great recruiters that are all dying to get into Phenom. Some came grudgingly, as yours did. But once they're in there, and some of our loudest opponents, Jonathan, is now one of our biggest advocates. These people. He's one of my biggest advocates moving forward, but it took him until he got it, and then he got it, and it was like lights on. So, what else?
Question on the career sites. I'm assuming this is for external and internal career sites, right? So there's no differentiation if you're using it for internal?
Yeah, so initially the first launch is external, but the internal career sites will also adopt the same type of settings that's part of our roadmap. So, but initially it's just the front end career site. Yeah.
Any sort of timeline?
It's planned for this year, so it's short timeline.
We'll go first. And then the second question was, this is amazing. I mean, this is exactly what needs to be done, and I'm glad to see this evolve. My question is, on the user, the person that's going to be doing the work, it seems simple and easy, but what's the level of experience required of the person that you're going to have administrating?
So the question is, what's the level of experience you need to somebody who's going to manage this very easy self-managed, I'm not putting in tickets website?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the shift isn't huge from existing CMS to now we have these additional settings. So somebody doesn't have to relearn a new system. And you don't even need to have a technical background to learn these settings. So once somebody sees like, hey, I can change padding around images, or I can change the radius on the corner around images, it's just settings that somebody has to learn how to adjust. and you can't really break anything. You can always revert it back. So
Tim, can a
It's-
fifth grader do it?
fifth grade, I don't know about a fifth grader, but it can be learned. I think anybody that can use a CMS tool, a web browser, you can learn how to change the look and feel of the site. And we'll have a lot of training and videos to help people get up to speed. Hopefully that answers it. Yeah.
Somebody who uses Canva could do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
That's why y'all pay me the
Thank you,
big
Kristen.
bucks. All right.
All right. One more question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So that's part of a future roadmap that we've looked at around approvals and accommodating that. So it's not part of this, it's not part of the CMS right now. Definitely something that we have talked about. It'd be great to connect with you to learn more about what that might need to be. Yeah, okay, let's do it. All right. Awesome.
I only have, you could also change companies, and I only have one communications team, one legal team. It's okay. It's okay. Wasn't a good fit.
Marketing person, I'm just gonna sit in this room, and if your boss is with you, come find me after.
Oh, yeah, not my.
All right, I know we're at time. Thank you, Kristen, for telling the
No,
story.
thank you, Tim.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.